I gotta do some chores on the farm. So earlier this morning when I was going to get the feed to feed Toby and the birds and do all my morning chores, I was down here underneath the barn and suddenly I noticed a furry creature running through the chaos that is my barn. I saw it dart into that hole over there. I've noticed over the last couple of days that Pablo's been acting very weird, particularly down under here underneath the barn. I've heard him mewling and hissing, and so this has me pretty much certain that there's some sort of animal living underneath the barn here. So to figure out what's going on, I've got one of my handy dandy trail cameras and I'm gonna set it up right about yonder here. And I've got my trusty have-a-heart trap. I'm gonna set it up back here. And I've got some kibble that I'm gonna use as bait. Now let's wait and see what sort of animal turns up. And I really hope I don't catch a wild Pablo barn cat. So Pablo, do me a favor. Don't get trapped by that little trap there, buddy. Huh? I don't want to catch you. Got it? I'm not exactly sure what type of critter it could be. I guess if I'm rifling through the possibilities, I guess it could be a raccoon. Except I saw it during the day and raccoons aren't usually out during the day. I guess it could be a bobcat, which feels like a slim chance. I guess another potential candidate would be, it could be a stray cat that's wandered over here. Because we've been having that rodent problem lately, and because we're down to only one outdoor barn cat, I could easily see another cat moving in on this turf and trying to become a part of our farm's ecosystem. And to be quite honest, I think our farm needs it. All right, let's go put everybody to bed. Out of the way, Spicy Duck. Come on. All ducks go to bed. Good job, geese. Good work. Let's go, Parks and Rec gang. Come on. In you go. In it. I can't seem to find Ron Swanson. There she is. Ron Swanson, what are you doing? Come on, Ron. You're being the stubborn one today. In you go. Come on. In you go, sweetie. There we go.
I want to punch you in the face so bad right now.
All right, let's lock up my chickens. Come on. Let's go, Red. Here we go. Gotta hit this door with the blowtorch too, perhaps. Can barely get this thing closed. Winter problems. Fresh water for you, bud. There you go. Saw a mouse go through there. Bull. happened to see a little vole running through there. Definitely having some rodent problems here on the farm. Whew. A little dusting of snow here this morning. Pablo's off somewhere in a hurry. Where are you headed, buddy? Alright, let's check on our trap situation. Doesn't look like I got anything in the trap. But something definitely set off the trap. Looks like something actually ate most of the food in there too. Something definitely ate the food that I had out in this dish. Something's living in there. Let's see if the camera caught anything. Well, apparently we definitely have a second barn cat living in the barn. I'm not exactly sure what to do about it. I mean, my general instinct is I don't want unknown animals living in the barn. But at the same time, we are having a serious rodent problem here around the farm, and the idea of adding an additional barn cat is kind of a good thing. I'm curious to see what you guys out in YouTube viewer land think I should do, so leave your ideas down in the comments. Hey, Toby D. How's it going, bud? How's it going, puppy dog? So Pablo, what do you think about the prospect of a second cat hanging around the farm, huh? You cool with that idea? Does it bother you? I know that so far you and Hobo Barn Cat have not hit it off all that well. Yeah, I mean, like the last few days, I've just seen Pablo hissing and acting all weird and growling inside the barn. Like that's what sort of initially tipped me off to the idea of setting up the trail cameras to begin with. But I don't know, he wasn't a huge fan of having little barn cat around here either, or Toby dog for that matter. And he got along pretty well with both of them at this point. More rodent tracks. You can see a little pathway going right through there. My morning ritual of setting this trap continues. I guess from that perspective, having a cat living in the barn right there while I'm dealing with a rodent problem right here seems almost like a blessing, right? It's not like there's a shortage of barn cat work around these parts these days. Morning, silky chickens. I mean, we have so many birds here on this farm and plans for many more birds. Having a handful of predators like cats wandering around the property is actually a good thing for rodent control. The one downside though to having the cats around the property is they are going to negatively impact the bird populations here on the farm. The reality is when you have barn cats around your farm, they're gonna negatively impact the population of things like songbirds around your farm. We've been lucky because Pablo Barn Cat has never actually been much of a threat to birds. He focuses most of his attention on hunting rodents. But Lil Barn Cat, when she was out here patrolling the ground, she was a terror on the birds. She used to even climb up trees and go into birds' nests to grab them. What is that? Oh, I see what's going on up there. Do you see that? I see why that bird is terrorized. Careful, Lil. Don't hurt yourself, sweetie. Let it go. Let it go. Ultimately, all of this gets to an important point that I think most people don't think about when it comes to planning a farm, in that your farm is an ecosystem and you need to think about it accordingly. And the animals you introduce on your farm are going to create ripples in that ecosystem. And a big part of your job as the farmer is to find a way to create balance within that ecosystem. So for example, we have Toby Dog keeping the predators in check because the predators are attracted by our birds. If Toby Dog wasn't here, we'd have a much higher population of coyotes, foxes, bobcats, that sort of thing. But because we've got this big galoot, he keeps everybody else away and they go look for territory that's not already occupied. When it comes to the rodents, it's sort of a similar factor. The more rodents we attract with the animal feed that we leave out for our farm birds, the more we're gonna have smaller predators like mink and weasels start to show up around the farm, as well as the fact that just rodents can bring all sorts of diseases. I need to keep that rodent population in check and in balance with the amount of birds I have and the amount of feed I'm putting out. You know, we had 2 barn cats working on the farm and that kept things pretty well in check. But over the last 12 months, we've doubled the number of birds that we're keeping over the winter, and we're down 1 barn cat, with Lil Barn Cat now being a full-time house cat. And even if the barn cat's afraid of me and I never really connect with him all that much, having him live in the barn and sleep there during the day and come out here at night is perfectly fine by me. So, I don't know. Hey, generic duck, how are you? Let loose the goose! Hey, Bruce Goose, how's it going, buddy? How are you? So just a quick and funny Pablo Barn Cat and Lil Barn Cat story for you guys. So a couple weeks ago, it was Allison's birthday. And one of the birthday presents I got for her was, I went to one of these places online where you can get like fancy paintings of your pets. And I got her a painting of Pablo because Pablo is her absolute favorite animal in the entire world. She absolutely loved it and she thought it was an awesome gift. But then what happened was we noticed that Lil Barn Cat. So I just got my wife this portrait of one of our cats for her birthday. There's one person who's really not happy about it.
It's Pablo.
Yeah, I ended up making that video on TikTok because it was just pretty gosh darn funny to see her reaction to that picture. Well, I'm not 100% sure what I'm going to do long term about this barn cat. I do think for now I'm going to keep leaving a little bit of food out to see if I can attract it. I'm also going to still try to trap it. And I will take the video footage that I've been gathering and I'll share it on a couple local forums around here where people share pictures and photos of lost pets. You know, the worst thing in the world would be for this to be somebody else's cat that I end up trapping and keeping here on their farm and then they never know that it went missing. I'd feel horrible if I did that. Alright, let's do a check of the old trap. Oh dear. Pablo, you dingus. What'd you do? afraid to warn you, man. Pablo, I'm sorry, man. You gotta be careful. I probably shouldn't be trying to trap a cat while I have another cat running around here. So what I think I'm gonna do is I will set the trap tonight, and I will bring Pablo inside and keep him down in the basement, and hopefully try to catch the cat in the morning. Pablo. What you doing out in the snow there, Dottie? I'm sorry I locked you up there earlier, Pablo. I really didn't mean to do that, bud. Come on, geese. Let's go. Let's go, geese. Battening down the hatches. Everybody in for the night. Justin, you remain the most protected gander by far, buddy. Good for you. When it comes down to it, though, really, who wants to mess with a goose?
The only animal in the animal kingdom that wants anything to do with Canada gooses is Canada mooses.
Come on, Jemima. It's bedtime, girl. You know where to go. Come on, up the ramp, sweetie. Come on, man. Get out of there. All right, inside you go, buddy boy. We're gonna put you in the basement tonight. Come on, in you go. So I will admit, I'm rather excited about the idea of getting a new barn cat here on the farm. I don't know if it's going to end up being this cat or if it's just going to be about getting other cats, but we really need it. I think my plan is I'm going to still try a couple of days of using the trap, but if that doesn't work, I'll end up giving up on the trapping part and just try to communicate with this cat in terms of food by giving him just a little bit of food here and making him feel very comfortable down in this area. I'm hoping I attract him and he decides to make Goldshaw Farm his permanent home.